Week 16, welcome to the Don't Ask Me Why podcast with your hosts with the S at the end, Roger and Reggie. I'm Reggie. He's Roger. Say hi, Roger.
Hi, Reg. How's it going down there, buddy?
It's going all right. It's a little chilly, but I imagine it's a little warmer than it is up there.
Yeah, I think it is. So I don't want to hear any of that.
Okay. And we go by the nickname, the Prophets of the Prophet. That's who we are. That's who we are, damn it. More. Don't stop. Louder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, enough. But we are the Prophets of the Prophet. We've been on a semi-rough stretch, but like last week, we said that we would bounce back, and we did. Kind of, sort of. Raj, you know how, and you're a hooper, you're a former hooper, so you can relate to this. You know how you leave a basketball out in the cold and it deflates just a tad, right?
Deflates. Doesn't bounce as good either.
Exactly. Yet it still bounces.
Yeah.
It still bounces. It may not bounce, it may not bounce, come up to your hip. You may have to reach down near your shin to keep it up, but it still bounces. So that was our bounce back last week.
Because it's wintertime and it's cold.
Right. So forgive us.
Yeah.
Shrinkage, things like that happen. But last week's picks, we're 2-3-1. A major improvement from 1-5, but 2-3-1. We're trending upwards with an overall of 37, 35, and 6. So we're at that 51, 52% mark still, Raj. Like I said, we're trending up. I saw your picks. You saw my picks. We both felt good about it. What are your thoughts, man?
Unlike last week when I said, like, well, we were this close to being this. No excuses. You miss.
Yeah.
My game that would have had us at 3-2 or whatever would have had us at another win was Chicago, and that ended up being a push. Chicago getting 3, and they had the game under control the majority of the game. And it is what it is. That's betting on sports, and there are no excuses. I'm sure there have been plenty of games throughout the year, and again, we have a winning record against the spread year to date. I think that there are probably several games that we hit in the last minute, due to a last second field goal or interception or whatever. So it is what it is. We bounced back a little bit. The basketball, it was a little bit deflated. It's cold. It's wintertime. But this week we will get better, and you will have more faith in the prophets of the prophet.
Indeed. I couldn't agree more. But let's just go ahead and jump into it. Raj, real quick, I want true or false. I got some true and false for you. Okay.
And is it personal? Or is this football?
It can be personal. I can make it personal. So I have so I sent you the outline, and it's football related, but I do have a personal true or false right here on deck. Okay. So don't let me get personal.
No, let's just stick with the
football. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So 3 more weeks left in the regular season. It seems like everyone was still mathematically eligible to make the playoffs. That number is slightly decreased, but let's focus on those teams that may or may not be Super Bowl contenders. So let me ask you this, true or false?
Yeah.
The best team in the AFC may not make the playoffs.
I say false.
Okay. And I would say what I consider the best team in the AFC today, and you may disagree, but the Buffalo Bills, they've been kind of Jekyll and Hyde-ish throughout the season, but they really hit a switch, and there was something different about them in that last game
Mm-hmm.
against the Cowboys,
Yeah.
and that being letting James cook, as Josh Allen put it. So
Yeah.
I think that formula was just, I think Josh Allen only completed 7 passes, whereas James Cook had 25 rushes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to have that sort of um, numbers in terms of run and pass mix, and if they're able to sustain that, then
Mm-hmm.
other teams are in trouble. But I just don't see that formula continuing. And I think that's going to play to their detriment, because I really think they may have found lightning in a bottle, but I'm not sure if they can maintain that type of mix, especially with a quarterback like Josh Allen, who is very prolific on the ground himself. But he's a weapon um, from the pocket.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to unpack there. I tend to agree with a lot of what you said there. Disagree with some, only from the standpoint that there are a lot of variables within each game that dictate, things like, run to pass ratio and things like that. It has to do with score at the time in the game. If you're ahead, if you're behind, I think that they can't go wrong by running the ball more now that they found a real stud there. But again, I think that it also has to do with other variables like who you're playing, how they are, or is their secondary depleted, to where you can take significant advantage of them. Like, in other words, if Buffalo was playing Washington this coming weekend, I would say, air it out, man. But in general, when you get down to playoff level football, and I think that Buffalo will definitely get there. They've got the schedule to help them get there. Um, I think that your point is going to be more salient. It's going to be more valuable when they get to the playoff round, because at that point, everybody's good. And then you start to, use your workhorse. Like if you found a big stud like Tennessee a few years ago with Travis Henry, right? So if Cook continues to look like that type of a force, then once they get to the playoffs, yeah, man, take the ball more out of Josh Allen's hands and put it more into his hands.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to be. I'm not going to say a shot to the ego, because ultimately I think he's been so close to the pinnacle of at least making it to the Super Bowl, and being in the AFC championship and losing,
Hmm.
and teams that we really thought were Super Bowl ready.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, at this stage, he's in his 5th year. I'm sure he's willing to defer for the greater good. So, and as far as who they're playing, I think they're not playing the Commanders. I think they're playing the West Coast version of the Commanders and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Right. Without their quarterback and probably without Keenan Allen again this week and with an interim coach.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. But
man, that looks good to me.
yeah, yeah. But another true and false. Another true or false. So I like this. So all right. So true or false. If the playoffs started today, the
Mhm.
Buccaneers would host Philly and they would win.
Well, I say false,
Okay.
because although I think that Tampa, is in really good position now
Mm-hmm.
to get in. Although, with the Jags and New Orleans as two of the last three opponents, and only New Orleans being a home game. I don't know. The Jags might come back after that loss last week and rebound. And Tampa is certainly not a world beater, but if they get in, I don't see them beating Philly. I do see Philly rebounding. They've had a tough stretch, really tough stretch.
Yeah.
But I just think that their talent across the board on both sides of the ball will get them past Tampa. But Tampa could easily beat them. But if you had to ask me true or false, I'll say Philly, if they play them in the playoffs, will beat them.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, they need something. They need something. The Eagles, that is. They're
Yeah.
wounded. They're making all types of memes and questioning Jalen Hurts as a leader, and questioning if it wasn't for the tush push, what is Jalen Hurts? I think all of that is just absurd and just silly talk.
It got to him a little bit after the game. He was a little bit not combative, but he was suggesting that everybody, not everybody on the team, is really committed enough
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And those are the kind of the things that a pro like him typically wouldn't say. But after a third loss and a really tough loss like that one,
Mhm.
things come out sometimes that maybe you don't mean to say,
Right.
and they just come out. So
If someone's going to say it, as far as who that message comes from, a head coach, um, especially a respected head coach,
right.
um, leaders in the locker room. So I think they throw around that C on the chest,
Yeah.
that captaincy, that's thrown
Yeah.
on a second year quarterback quite often. So that's more of a, not necessarily you are the leader. We're ordaining you as the leader to give you that confidence to help you play better and lead this team to where it needs to go. So I
Right.
really think he's earned that C, especially his path and what he's been through,
Sure.
not only in the NFL, but in college. So he definitely
Yeah.
has those leadership traits. So for him to say that, uh, and he's usually measured, he's usually
Mm-hmm.
cool. You don't know if
Yeah.
he's high, if he's low, if he's mad, if he's sad. But for him to come out and make that statement and question the commitment, I think his team respected that. I don't think they had a
Yeah.
problem with that. And I think that's what they needed. And then on top of that, they do get the Giants twice and the Cards. So that should get them back on track. But they can't go 2-1. They can't, and they certainly can't go 1-2 over these last few weeks. They're
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
but they cannot, slip any further and look any worse than they currently did. Because
Agree.
I really thought, even with Gino, if Gino were playing, I really thought that Seattle would be that game that would get them back on track.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. But I was wrong.
I agree. The only other thing I would add to that is like Jalen Hurts was sick coming into the game. Yeah, the flu, he was sick, he didn't feel well. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times in my life when I've been not feeling too well, those have been times maybe when I wasn't really that measured in terms of what I was saying, or things like that, or sharing emotions, because when you don't feel good, you don't feel good.
Yeah.
And it tends to come out in the way you emote.
Well, tell that to Jordan in the 98 finals against the Utah Jazz in the flu game, when he scored
Yeah.
38 points and had to be carried off by three
Yeah.
teammates. And tell that to
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith when he had a separated shoulder in the playoffs and just running up and down the field on the Giants back in 91, 92. No excuses.
Okay, so that's going to become, going back to the beginning of the show tonight, not making any excuses on our picks. That's going to be one of our mottos going forward. No excuses.
No excuses. So
Win or lose, feeling bad, sick, injured, you're playing, you're on the field. You shouldn't be out there if you're not ready to play.
yeah.
Okay, point taken, Reg. Yeah.
Jalen could have had his own personal flu game. So want to highlight a couple of games upcoming this week. Two of the bigger matchups, pretty obvious. We'll start off with the Ravens at 49ers. A few weeks ago, we highlighted the San Francisco and Philly game as like the game of the year. And I think we were talking about that from earlier in the season. I remember we were talking about that week 1, week 2 of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But the matchup and a potential Super Bowl 47 rematch, Ravens at 49ers. The odds to make the Super Bowl, they are 1-2. Okay. So that really does say that they are the not only the top two teams to make it, according to MGM in Vegas, but the San Francisco 49ers are plus 225 to win the Super Bowl, and the Ravens are plus 550 to win, respectively. So it's a great matchup. I think the 49ers are favored at home by 5.5. What are your thoughts on that game, and can the Ravens pull that off?
I don't think so. I think that the 49ers are just really, kicking into high gear right now. It'd be a really tough ask for Baltimore to go in there and beat them the way they're playing. So I don't see that happening. I would take, to be honest with you, at that plus 225 on the Niners making it to the Super Bowl. I believe I want to go to the betting window as soon as we finish this show tonight
Wow.
and lay, a significant amount of cash on that.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, I think that they will be there pending significant injuries.
I agree with everything you just said. That's the main thing, is being injury free. And knock on wood, we don't. I hate even talking about, well, what about injury, or could injury happen? Because I just don't want to put the whammy on them. They look good. I love to see a great team look great and play great.
Well, think about this too, Reggie. Flashback to last year in that game against the Eagles. By the second quarter, they did not have a quarterback. They had no quarterback.
Yeah.
Purdy was gone. They brought in two other quarterbacks. They got her in the fourth quarter, late in the third and into the fourth quarter. They were trying to have Christian McCaffrey play quarterback. The game was over.
Yeah.
The game was well over. So I don't think that they'll ever experience anything like that again. And that team, when they are full go and healthy, the way they are right now, I just like that. I didn't even know that was the number until you just brought it up.
Yeah.
Them plus 225
Yeah.
to be in the Super Bowl, not to win it, but to be in it.
Well, it's to win it. It's to win
It's
it.
to win it.
Yeah.
Okay, 225 to win
And
it.
that's still,
I'm still there.
Yeah.
I'm still on it.
Speaking of the 49ers and Brock Purdy, have you been hearing, or did you hear about the whole Cam Newton and the quarterbacks that he labeled as game managers recently? I'm not sure if you caught wind of that story.
That I didn't,
Okay.
but I did see another clip during the week to where an opposing team was sort of undermining Purdy's importance to the team and all that. And then I saw a clip of Christian McCaffrey reacting to it. And why would you want to throw fuel on the fire, right? Boy, that's a dumb thing to do with a team that good.
Yeah.
Is to fan the flames. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their definition of game manager. Apparently, if he's a game manager, then he's managing the hell out of games. I'll say that much. So people say it's not a negative connotation attached to it. It really is an underlying slight to that player, but he's playing fantastic. Game manager, game, whatever. He is doing what needs to be done with those weapons. You've seen weapons go to waste, but he's making sure that they're getting the ball and they're making plays. I love what he's doing.
If he's a game manager, then I'm an old man. Okay. So both those things are equally crazy thoughts.
Yeah. We'll have to go to the booth on that one and call Gene Serator, one of them, and review that last call.
Well, I was trying to come up with a reasonable analogy there.
That was close enough. Another big game coming up, Cowboys at Dolphins. And guess what? Both are 2 seeds. And this might be a long shot for this matchup in the Super Bowl, but this would be another rematch in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 6.
Yeah, it would.
Super Bowl 6. And
how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? How about them Dolphins? Hey, come on now. Don't trip. But both being 2 seeds, let me ask you, who do you think has the better odds of making it or winning the Super Bowl? Dolphins or Cowboys? So let me just ask you.
It hurts me to say this because I've always been anti-Cowboys, been a Washington fan, for the majority of my adult life. But I just think the Cowboys are, for a lot of reasons, a better have a better chance to get to the promised land this year than Miami. Miami has had this year sort of a run of things schedule wise to the extent that they had not beaten a better than 500 team, for a long way into the season.
Uh-huh.
And when they started playing teams, that had winning records, there was trouble there. So I like Dallas this week to win that game.
Okay.
And I don't, yeah, it's not one of my picks this week, because both teams are really, in the upper echelon. But if I had to, bet my life on it, I would take Dallas to beat them.
Dolphins are -1.5 favorite at home. And MGM in Vegas says that the Dolphins are favored to win the Super Bowl at +800, with the Cowboys at a +1,000 odds to win the Super Bowl. So
We'll see what I
yeah,
know.
we'll see what you know. Hey, we've been looking good thus far this year. So you know, MGM, Slim GM, or Slim Jim.
Yeah.
All right, so hey, we have a question mail in. This is building off of your love affair, and just you just there you go. You were just, oh my god, that, oh man, I actually felt a little unsafe during that segment. I really was
Mm,
looking over my shoulder. I'm looking out the
mm,
window like I hope no one is
yeah.
peeking in, and
Yeah.
I was a little scared, real talk.
Man, don't worry about it. Don't worry
See, there you
about it.
go again. All right. All right.
Mhm.
Anyhow, so he says, hey guys, this is Terry from Hackensack, New Jersey. I know you guys were high on Tommy DeVito last week. Correction, he was high on Tommy DeVito last week. But he says, I know you guys were high on Tommy DeVito last week. I saw that his agent doubled his appearance fee from 10K to 20K after that win for a 2 hour appearance. What say y'all?
And so how quickly they fall, the flashes in the pan, how quickly they fall. Here's what happened. Here's what transpired even yesterday. Um, Not only did Tommy DeVito, after the woeful performance against New Orleans, they lost 24-6. He not only said, okay, I'll come in, I'll do the appearance for 10K. He went in yesterday and did the appearance for free, right? And there are pictures from inside that pizzeria, and I saw maybe two people in the pizzeria, right? So he went in, he had a slice of pie. He had a slice of pie in Morristown, New Jersey. They probably kept it under wraps that he was even going to come over there. And it
Oh,
was like, looked like it was like right after lunch, like after the lunch rush, when it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and nobody's there.
yeah.
But he came in and he had a slice of pizza, and good on him, that he went there so as to at least give respect to the owners of the pizzeria that were willing at one point to pay him 10 grand to show up. And so I think that DeVito was kind of like, yeah, he probably had a conversation with his agent, after Sunday's game, and so like, dude, this is the last thing we need here is a big controversy over me, asking for double appearance money after a game like that. So let me just go to the pizzeria, eat a slice of pizza, smile, shake hands, with a couple of people, and get out of there, which he did. So credit to him.
Yeah. Shout out to Caniglio's Old Fashioned Pizza.
Caniglios. Yeah.
Caniglio's in Brooklyn.
I'm gonna go there if I'm ever up
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
I gotta do it.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, man. That's on agent. That was out of line. Um, I hope he bounces back and can cash in on some of this equity that he's gained. Maybe get that bandwagon back started again, but I know they have to see the Eagles twice over the next 3
that's
weeks.
going to be tough.
Oh man,
he's walking right into a buzzsaw this Sunday or on Monday, I believe.
What else? Maybe he can walk into like don't they do like hoagies or I don't know. I'm not Northeast fluent.
The best thing maybe that could happen to him before they play the Eagles is for the Tony Soprano types, to maybe, find out a way to keep him out of the game.
Hey, I got my members only jacket on. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
Tommy can't make it. He can't make it. He's not doing too good today.
Right. Oh well. But anyways, so Terry, we thought his agent was a clown for that. He had to eat crow, and he instead of accepting the 10K, he was like, you know what? Let me just do it for free, earn a little credibility, and because people are looking at me kind of crazy and sideways. So good luck to Tommy and the Giants, and maybe y'all can salvage a nice little draft pick going.
I'm still going to root for him, though. I'm still going to pull for him.
Yeah, you better. You better after
rags to riches.
After all those antics from last week.
Thank you very much.
A few more things. Only 14 teams have had their starting quarterback from week 1 up until now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looked at the numbers, but that's 43% of the league that has had their starting quarterback from week 1 until now. Okay, I'm gonna run these names off real quick. Tua, Purdy, Goff, Mahomes, Prescott, Howell, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Hurts, Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson. So it's a mixed bag of some really great players in there. I named a few names that I'm like, you know what? If there were any players that would be injured, it would be some names on here that I would think would be on that injury list. And I don't wish injury or mal health on anyone, but Tua, he's been through it, but credit to him for being healthy all throughout the season. Purdy is just coming off of reconstructive elbow surgery. Lamar Jackson traditionally will have a nick here or there and sit a few weeks, but he's been through the entire season. Hurts has been playing banged up. So, but nonetheless, I think that's just a huge number of where you have 56 or 57% of the league or the other 18 teams have had a backup or at least one backup, if not multiple. What are your thoughts on just the story largely of the NFL up to this point?
To be honest, though, if you go back and look at last year was almost as bad as this year in terms of quarterback injuries. It shocked me when I looked back a year and saw that. But, even on this list of guys that have played every game, there are 2 or 3 of those that it was almost unbelievable that they came out and played.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence last week.
Yeah.
After a high ankle sprain, he was doubtful to play.
Absolutely.
But he's a gamer, and he came out and played. Didn't play well. I think they'll do better this week because he should be healthier. But Jalen Hurts, as sick as he was against Seattle, even these guys that have played every game have been dinged up. Tua is renowned, especially last year with being a little bit injury prone. So believe it or not, the number of quarterbacks that have played every game to this point could be even worse than what it is.
Absolutely.
So but here's another thing that it brings up. To me, it brings to the forefront who the really great coaches are and who the really great organizations are. So Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, what are we working with there now? The 4th quarterback, I believe.
Pretty much.
Flacco is all of a sudden turning back the clock. I think that we referenced the movie early in the year, Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
About a guy coming back at old age and recapturing his youth. That Flacco is looked phenomenal. And in order for you to have, and Minnesota has done the same thing, to stay in some type of playoff contention with four quarterbacks, and a great deal of that credit goes to the coaching and the system, where you can bring in the most important position on the field and really not miss that much. So that's just another angle on that.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. We do wish health to all these star players, especially the quarterback position, and because that's going to affect the product. And
Yeah.
we want the best product out there. And it's almost like we become kind of used to seeing the second and third string. There were so many matchups where it was a backup quarterback versus another backup quarterback. And when you have 18 teams that have backups, you're going to see that a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, the diehard fan, it's a new name and a new face to get used to. For the fringe fan, it could be an issue, but I wish everyone a speedy recovery, and especially those teams that are in the hunt to get back to full health and put their best foot forward. So I look forward to that.
Agree. Yep.
So upcoming, we do have some guests lined up. One that we do have a firm confirmation on, Maryland Terrapin great, Ratcliffe Thomas. He's locked in for next week. Led the Terrapins in tackles 3 consecutive seasons. Freshman All-American, and also played for the Colts, special teams captain for the Colts. So I'm excited about that. How about you, Raj?
From doing some research on Ratcliffe Thomas, there's so many other interesting things that we will bring up when we have the interview with him next week that are just amazing to me. And I'm not going to mention any of them here, but they are truly remarkable aspects of his life and his career that everybody should enjoy, and hopefully they'll be interested in becoming a part of his after football pursuits. In large part, he runs a youth football organization that has taken off, like crazy, and we'll talk to him about that in great detail.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. Pardon me, Coach Ratcliffe Thomas. So he's a
Coach
Ratcliffe.
Thomas.
So
That's right.
I'll make sure to train the brain to make sure that I'm addressing him properly. So can't wait to have him. I know we're probably going to have Chris back over the next few weeks or so, maybe going into the playoffs. So I look forward to having him. He's one of our friends of the show as well. So I look forward to having him back.
Good to have a sports book guy and a real expert on point spreads and all that. When we get into playoff season, he'll add a lot to what we're talking about like that.
Okay. So last week on the picks, you went first. It's like the coin toss. I flipped the coin, you called heads, and then landed on heads.
I'm flipping the coin right now. You call heads or tails.
All right, tails.
Tails it is. So you pick first.
Isn't that what they do right here? We want the ball.
Yeah, you're gonna take the ball.
I want the ball. All right. Yeah. So I get the ball.
Wait a minute. You picked tails, right?
Yeah.
The amazing thing is that I was flipping a 2-headed coin, and it still came up there.
That's foul play. That's foul play.
But go ahead.
All right. So
I'm with you.
Here are my picks with some integrity involved, mind you. So I like the Colts +1 at the Falcons. Raj did remind me of a few things that kind of gave me a little pause about. I don't know if this is a good pick to make, but my guy Gardner Minshew, the mustache is still in there.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jonathan Taylor is a maybe. Zach Moss is out, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. The Falcons, once again, they're making some changes at the quarterback position. They're bringing Taylor Heineke in. And like we had mentioned earlier in the season, bringing in Taylor Heineke is almost an improvement at this stage. Not much of an improvement,
Yeah.
but it's more of a I'm not going to turn the ball over or throw interceptions like Ritter did in the red zone last week. That interception was just that was pitiful. That was pitiful. But the Colts have something to play for. They're 8-6. They're still in contention to win the AFC South. So I like the Colts +1 at the Mercedes-Benz Dome this week. So also I like the Broncos -6.5 hosting the Patriots. I'm not sure if you saw Sean Payton tear Russell Wilson a new one on the sidelines. Did you see that?
I heard something about it, but I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
I thought that was quite embarrassing. Sean Payton has had many embarrassing, just foot in the mouth, palm over face moments throughout the entire season, from questioning the prior coaching
Hackett.
staff, and then that
Yeah.
prior coaching staff coming in there and kicking their ass to this little to the 70-point loss in Miami, and now this dramatic moment caught on camera on the sideline talking to a former Super Bowl veteran quarterback, arguably a Hall of Famer, and just chewing him out. I thought that was just classless. I thought that was tasteless. And it really does show a lot about the character of Sean Payton. Nonetheless, I still like the Broncos.
That being said,
I like the Broncos -6.5 versus the Patriots.
Yes, you do.
After that, you got to kick some tail. And whose tail better to kick than Belichick and the Zap Man, or whatever his nickname is? Who cares? And then finally, I like the Ravens and the 49ers over the 47. I know before the show we were talking, and I personally think if it is a close game, I think it's over easily, or maybe not. But nonetheless, I do believe that the 49ers have the ability to make up a lion's share of that point total on their own. And the Ravens, on the flip side, have the ability to put up 30 plus points in a heartbeat as well. So with that combined, it's almost like those two juggernauts coming together and breaking 70 points. But knowing my luck, they may come in and put up a total of 25 points combined. But I do believe that the Ravens 49ers will go over to 47, lock it in. Those are my 3 picks. Raj, possession is in your hands.
I like him. Like you said, we discussed the Colts Atlanta pick before the show, and I'm right there with you. You know, I think that the Colts and the mustache, you know, have so much resiliency so far this year that they're going to find a way to get it done, and that's another great coaching job in Indianapolis this year.
Absolutely.
After losing their starting quarterback early on.
Absolutely.
You know, and I was thinking too, you were mentioning New England, and, you know, Denver beating New England this week, you know, with the Patriots quarterback. Is it Zappy?
Yep.
Zappy.
Or is it,
okay,
maybe it's a pay?
Well, I'm just wondering if has anything to do with, because I see Zappo's potato chips in the sheets that I go to. Oh, no, okay. So, no, Zappos is, and he's Zappy. Okay.
Yeah. So,
no correlation to because I thought he might be heir to a potato chip throne.
Hey,
you know,
possibly.
And then the quarterback thing would just be something to do.
Absolutely. Right.
But here are my 3 winning picks, you know, and we're going to go 6-0 this week.
Hello.
I'm going all road underdogs. Okay. Starting with the Bills -12 at San Diego.
Woo!
And it's not a home game for the LA Chargers. Don't kid yourself. There will be way more Bills fans in SoFi Stadium than there will be Chargers fans. The Chargers are coming off let me see, what was it, a 41-point loss to the Raiders last week, 63-21.
Embarrassing.
Keenan Allen is uh, unlikely to play. They're going through second string quarterback. They have an interim coach. Buffalo is in desperate need to win, not just this week, but the next 2 weeks beyond. So they are not going to let the Chargers get in the way of their playoff run. Not going to happen. So I think this will be an easy cover, even at -12. I like the Seattle Seahawks coming off that spirited win against Philadelphia to go into a really downtrodden and beaten Tennessee Titans team after that embarrassing loss last week to Houston when they had a comfortable lead, and Houston playing without C.J. Stroud on the road in Tennessee. Tennessee needing a win to stay in the playoff hunt, and had a big lead, and then blew it to Houston, who came back and knocked them out. Seattle, after the big win over Philadelphia, is going to go into Tennessee and roll on them, because I believe that the Titans are defeated. I don't think even their players believe that they still have a shot in hell of getting into the playoffs. They're so far at the back of the pack. Mathematically, they're alive. They're not going. It's not going to happen. And my third pick, also a road underdog, will be the Lions at the Vikings. Minnesota is 7-7. They lost last week. And who knows? I don't even know who their quarterback's going to be this week. It's a musical chairs situation. The Lions, soundly defeated Denver last week. Beat them, what was it, 42-17, I believe.
Yeah,
Reg?
yeah.
And I don't think they're going to have near that problem with the Vikings. Remember, the Vikings now have lost 2 straight, and they lost to the Bears 2 weeks ago. What was it, 12-10?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think you would know, because I think you have some affinity for the Bears, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So the Vikings are a shell of what they were when they went on the earlier 4-game winning streak run, and they're starting to fade. The Lions are coming on. The Lions are still looking for a high playoff seed, right, to get 1 or 2 games at home when they get in. So I like the Lions -3 at Minnesota, and that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah. Lions, they were looking like world beaters at the beginning of the season. Had that terrible loss in Baltimore that kind of brought them down to earth. So they've been kind of up and down. I think Jared Goff had a bounce back week. I know they lost to the Bears a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really looking for their true identity. What are they going to be?
Yeah.
So like you said, they're still fighting for playoff positioning. I think the Eagles are vulnerable enough where not only will they finish second in the East, will open up a slot for the Lions, as a third seed potentially, and maybe a second seed. So Lions do have a lot to play for, and we'll see what happens. Holiday plans. It's Christmas. There may be some folks who are watching this right now on Christmas Day, and we encourage you all to go to our YouTube, Don't Ask Me Why podcast, our Instagram at Don't Ask Me Why Pod, Twitter, we're active on there as well. The TikTok is at Don't Ask Me Why as well. So check us out on the different mediums, and of course on Spotify and all your major podcast mediums that you all use as well. We're out there as well. So make sure you're tuning in, be it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But there are a lot of games. But what do you have planned for Christmas?
Jingle all the way. And here's the thing. This is our Christmas show. We don't have a holiday show because this week is the Christmas show. Next week is the New Year's Eve show, right? So we're gonna have separate holiday shows.
Yep.
Hopefully, our picks will make you plenty of holiday money to pay for all those worthless Christmas gifts that you bought for people that you didn't even want to buy things for,
Yeah. Yeah. No fruit cakes.
right?
Don't send me no
No
no fruit
fruitcakes.
cakes. I mean, like the food fruit cake. That
Yeah,
fruit cake.
I got
Right.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for clarity's sake.
So Reggie, real quick before we go, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, that's easy. Donny Hathaway, This Christmas. As a matter of fact, that's probably the only well, I ain't gonna say that. Donny Hathaway, This Christmas is number one with a bullet. And then Jackson 5, any they Christmas songs. All those other ones you can toss. Jingle Bells. Every time I walk into a grocery store or Macy's or whatever, I hear this
Yeah.
Christmas music and I just want to, it's like nails on the chalkboard. I'm sorry, I'm the Grinch. I'm Scrooge.
Wow.
I'm by humbug, man. My bad.
Wow.
But if it ain't Donnie, if it ain't the Jackson 5, all that Mariah Carey stuff, you can keep it.
Wow. Maybe I didn't know you as well as I thought I did.
Didn't expect that one.
Didn't expect that, but and my favorite Christmas song, totally opposite, is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. So
man, yes.
who doesn't like
my
that?
bad, my bad. That's on there too. That's on there too.
Very, very, very spirited. But look, Reg, I'll let you take it away, but we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Leave us a comment. Some of the your Christmas wishes, or let's say the comments on the YouTube is like Santa's Christmas list. Leave us what you would like for Christmas, okay? And we'll see about making contact with Santa Claus and seeing if we can get those gifts fulfilled for you. So I want to see some comments in there with what your gift is, and your gift may be for this show to make it to broadcast level. Hey, why not? Why don't we deserve a gift, Raj?
But we will send your request directly to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
At the North
directly.
Pole. I've got the address.
Directly.
Okay. He'll get him. He'll get him.
Yep. All right.
So
that's it, folks. We appreciate it. Another week of the Don't Ask Me Why podcast, the Damn W, the Prophets of the Prophet. I'm Reggie. He's Raj. We're out of here. Peace.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.